Okay, some of my predictions I made about tonight's debate, the second debate in Miami, Florida, took place. It went down, and I was pretty accurate, I would say. But there was a couple of surprises, and I'm going to tell you all about it. So, we got Bernie Sanders there in the very beginning of this debate. One of the things I noticed is that Bernie Sanders was being treated like the front runner. I think that MSNBC was very comfortable with making Bernie Sanders be the guy they framed questions about. A couple of questions. Democratic socialism. Yeah, they went there. All focused on Bernie Sanders. Then the healthcare debate. All focused on Bernie Sanders' Medicare for All. It became pretty clear, guys, that the whole reason why we even talking about Medicare for All is because we got Bernie Sanders. Yeah, people need to just go ahead and admit it. If it weren't for Bernie, that wouldn't even be a topic of conversation. Because all tonight, when you got these high-powered, you got a former vice president and a senator, we got Senators Gillibrand up there, Bennet, Hickenlooper, former governor, everybody up there, powerful people, right? Why weren't they having to be called to account about Medicare for All? Because it's not their idea. It's not their idea. Bernie Sanders, if he didn't birth the idea, he's the one who's championed the idea. Okay, so people need to give Bernie Sanders credit. There would be no Medicare for All conversation in the year 2019 if it weren't for Bernie Sanders making it a formidable part of his plank, his campaign plank, back in 2015 and 2016. I think people need to respect that. You may not respect Bernie Sanders as a person. You may think he's gruff. You may think he's a cranky guy. But you got to respect the fact that the conversation in America has changed because Bernie Sanders ran, because he stood for something. And one of those things is Medicare for All, baby. Question after question, taking incoming fire from various people on the stage about a plan that would do basically what other countries have been doing. The only country in the westernized world anywhere close to our form of democracy without some type of universal health care coverage. It doesn't make sense. And we got people up there like Hickenlooper. Why is Hickenlooper even on the stage? Is anybody really going to vote for this guy? I understand it's democracy. I get it. Maybe people feel the same way about Marianne Williamson, but at least Marianne Williamson is unique. Marianne Williamson has ideas that make you think. It's good to have someone to break up the monotony of a bunch of centrists up there with a couple of progressives. And I'm fishing to say that. But if it weren't for Kamala Harris going after Joe Biden, I don't know if anybody would have went after Joe Biden. He was cruising, thinking about what he was going to order when he got back to his hotel, and then came Kamala Harris calling him out for nothing other than the segregationist busing catastrophe. So let me get this right. You can call Pete Buttigieg to the carpet about a shooting that happened in his city, but you can't, I'm talking to you, Chuck Todd, I'm talking to you, Rachel Maddow, but you can't call out Joe Biden about a controversy that was swirling just a couple of days ago that he actually had a part in? Now, okay, I get it. You don't want to bring up Creepy Joe. I get that. Okay, cool, fine. Let it go. You don't want to bring up Anita Hill. Okay, fine. I get that. Let it go. But the least you can do is question him about the segregationist busing issue, because there's a lot of thoughts floating around in the progressive community. One of them is that everybody's a plant and everybody's there just to stop Bernie Sanders. I think we need to stop having that type of conversation, because if you look closely tonight, Kamala Harris is going after Joe Biden like he stole something. Kamala Harris is in it to win it. She's not up there to stop Bernie. She's up here to try to be president, okay? Because if she wasn't, she wouldn't be calling out Joe Biden in the most serious topic of race. As a black woman, black-looking woman, I know her dad is Jamaican and her mother's Indian. I understand that. She looked black to everybody else, okay? But she wouldn't be calling out Biden on sensitive subject matter, right? It's a minefield for Democrats especially, if she weren't trying to run for the president. She wasn't doing that to help to stop Bernie. She was doing that to stop Biden, okay? So give her, at least recognize that if there is a conspiracy to stop Bernie, which I do believe, the Hillary Clinton campaign, the Hillary Clinton ring of the Democratic Party, and many other people in corporate media, NBC, various people in corporate media and several PACs, I know they don't want Bernie Sanders. But we're going to get to the real reason why that is at the end of this show. The closing remarks of Bernie Sanders said it all. Okay? So back to where I was. That exchange between Kamala Harris and Joe Biden will live on many, many times throughout media. They're going to talk about it all day tomorrow, all the way into the weekend. I think it's going to last all the way through next week. It was that strong, guys, because, see, they want something to talk about. But I'm also already noticing some editing going on. MSNBC did some very precise editing to the back and forth between Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. See, Kamala Harris is beating Joe Biden up pretty badly about his segregationist friends, about being obstructionist towards busing, and Joe Biden's comeback was pretty lame, saying, well, we just didn't want it. We didn't want busing to be forced by the federal government, the Department of Education. We wanted it to be left up to the states, and Kamala Harris made a good point. You can't leave things up to the states. Sometimes the states don't act always in the best interest of poor people or black people like myself, and that's true. So Biden really had nowhere to go, but he had one comeback that when I watched this after the debates, I watched it on MSNBC just moments before I came on air. They took out Biden's response to Kamala Harris, which was this. Hey, I fought for civil rights all my life. I went and helped those people in those communities. I was a public defender, not a prosecutor. Shut it down. Shut it down. See, I'm noticing the biases. And don't get me wrong, I'm not a Biden fan. Why did no one talk about Kamala Harris with a prosecutorial background? We're talking about mass incarceration. We're talking about the cut 21. We're talking about the new legislation moving towards legalizing cannabis, decriminalizing cannabis, right? Why aren't they asking questions of Kamala Harris about her track record as a prosecutor? Why? We already know the answers to these things. But what I'm saying is it was glaringly obvious that they're playing favorites. So as much as we want to focus on the candidates, we also got to focus on the fact that the moderators and the networks have agendas too. Now, not every question can be asked. I get that. But I would think that's a pretty germane question to the climate that we're in right now, especially when half of the show was talking about immigration and rights and human rights and mass incarceration. Why come we couldn't have a conversation also? One little question that also puts Kamala Harris on the hot seat. Okay, so I'm watching this all unfold. I'm looking at Kirsten Gillibrand doing her best to try to be recognized on the stage, trying to stand out in some way. She's throwing Hail Marys, throwing whatever she can against the wall. I'll tell you guys, her claim to fame is women's rights, women's reproductive rights, and she made a plea, and I felt like it was a plea. I'm surprised she didn't break down, start crying, or pick up a podium and throw something. She wants to tell women, hey, if you want your reproductive rights to be protected, you got to have me. I'm the person that's going to do it for you. That's what you need to do. Go with me. I get it. I get what she's saying, but I don't think that's how you win it. I don't think that's how you move up. I don't think she really helped herself by doing it. Don't get me wrong. I liked her talk about corruption. Kirsten Gillibrand is stronger when she's talking about corruption within our system, when she's talking about the big pharmaceuticals, when she's talking about Wall Street, when she's talking about business, when she's talking about corruption in Washington, D.C. I like her then. I don't like her so much when she keeps talking about reproductive rights and how she's the only person that can champion for that, as if a guy can't say, hey, let women do what they want to do with their bodies. Who are you? I think anyone can do that. I don't think you're uniquely qualified to fight for reproductive rights just because you are a female. I got to say this before I forget. I was impressed by Marianne Williamson. Okay, I was impressed by her. I was impressed that she was willing to go in while people were talking more or less policy and talk about another level of consciousness regarding why policy should be made. There was one part I thought she hit very strongly. That's when she said we should not only be talking about healthcare, we also should be wondering why we need so much damn healthcare. Why does Americans suffer from some of these chronic illnesses that other people around the globe don't suffer from? We need to start asking other questions besides, hey, can we get the prices lower? Maybe we should ask, hey, why do we need to get the prices lower? Why do we need to go to the doctor so damn much? I like that type of thinking. I know some people I saw, I was tweeting about it live, they didn't get it. They said she's not being specific enough. It's okay. It's great to have one person on stage with a totally different mind frame than the rest. Keeps you grounded. Keeps you focused on the real ish that we're dealing with. I know we was talking Andrew Yang. He said he wanted to stand next to Joe Biden because he would want his name to pop up in the search results as, who's the Asian guy standing next to Biden? Well, unfortunately, Andrew Yang did not get his wish. He was standing next to Hickenlooper and Pete Buttigieg, I think it was. And I was also kind of wondering where Andrew Yang was, man. Yeah, I was kind of wondering where Andrew Yang was. Look, I was kind of hard on him in the video because I thought he wasn't taking things as seriously as he should have took them. And so this time coming out earlier today, I said, you know what? Andrew Young's going to come out. He's going to be himself. Maybe I was being too hard on him. He's going to be himself. He's going to get his digs in. He's going to be charismatic. He looks very comfortable on stage. And hey, look, to me, he looked tight. He looked worried. He looked nervous. I don't think that Andrew Yang was in his element tonight. Sure, he routed off the percentages and the calculations and the number of jobs will be burnt off by, artificial intelligence and robotics. He talked about that, but it wasn't the same. It wasn't the same Andrew Yang. There were no jokes about being the only Asian guy on stage, not even in his closer. He wasn't the same guy he was on Bill Maher. I'm sure the Yang gang won't like that, but it's a reality, and I'm here to call it as I see it. Maybe we disagree. I'm just saying, I was used to quirky, punchy Andrew Yang, and I got a guy who, I don't know who that guy was. And I think if he looks at the tape again, I think he would agree with me. But, hey, I'm not saying it's easy to be on a stage like that. I'm not saying that at all. I've been on stages, but never with the whole world watching. So I don't want to be hard on him. I don't want to be hard on him because I don't think first of all, he didn't do the worst. He wasn't the worst. He just wasn't Andrew Yang. Okay. Somebody please tell me who this Michael Bennet guy is. And why is he such a tool? Yeah, man, there should be a rule. If nobody knows who you are, you should at least try to be likable. Michael Bennet is no Lincoln Chafee. Lincoln Chafee was likable. People are like, who the hell is Lincoln Chafee? Who's that? Who's that guy? Yeah, man, look. If you don't like Medicare for All, which is very clear that Michael Bennet does not like Medicare for All, at least you could do is have another idea. The idea should not be burn down Medicare for All and get that idea out of here, but come up with something better. And don't just tell me we need to keep freaking Obamacare. There are people still uninsured. It's a half measure, and it's a payoff. It's a buyback for the insurance companies. They make out, we don't. We still pay more than any other industrialized country and get less than the best treatment, far less than the best treatment. So unless you got a solution for that, you can stop taking the crap on Medicare for All as an idea. And Hickenlooper, what is up with you and this issue with socialism? He just kept going on and on and on about how horrible socialism, the term socialism. Though we're not trying to change the country into a socialist country, we're just trying to adopt some socialist principles in the way that we govern. Not everything needs to be about making a dollar, you dumb bastard. Some things need to be about the people. Should be made from the position of taking care of the people. It's part of your family. It's part of the community. Not just, how rich can we get? How rich can we get, Hickenlooper? It's just... I'm just wondering where these people come from, man. Oh, that's right. Colorado, right? Joe Biden, he didn't really have any strong moments, in my opinion. A lot of what he said is, I don't know. I don't think Joe Biden believes anything Joe Biden says. I'm just going to keep it real with you. How else can he go on a rant and then stop on the dime in 2 seconds flat and be like, oh, I'm out of time, right? I mean, he'll be talking like he's forceful, like he's in it. And I want you to know, I did this is what I did. Me and Barack Obama. Hey, hold on. Oh, my time's up? Okay. My time's up. Okay. That to me shows that's a person just putting on a little act for us. He's just doing a little mime for us, a little meme for us. He's not really invested in what he's saying out of his mouth. He's just programmed. He went in the back. The guys told him to say it this way. He comes back out and says it that way. He's been in hiding for the last month preparing for today. So he was just like, press the button, Joe. Just say it like they told you. Press the button, Joe. Just say it like they told you. 1 potato, 2 potato, 3 potato, 4 potato, 5 potato, 1 potato, 2 potato, 3 potato, 4 potato, 5 potato. That's the guy you want to be your president, huh? I don't think so. Pete Buttigieg is against free college. He's against free college, guys. Now, listen to the reason why he's against free college. Pete Buttigieg said he don't want billionaires' kids getting free college. Hey, Pete, first of all, Wall Street taxes are going to pay for free college. Second of all, billionaires' kids don't go to the community college, dumbass. I don't care how much money they can save. You just saw the Hollywood wives getting in trouble, right? They wasn't sending their kids to no community college. They were sending their kids to colleges that cost real money, like Princeton. Look, if you're going to be against something, I get it, but at least be against it in a genuine way. Your way, that whole conversation, that don't make any sense at all. Now, there was a guy up there by the name of Swalwell. I didn't know who he was until tonight. Eric Swalwell, right? Turns out he's a guy who talks about post-traumatic stress disorder, okay? Mental health, okay? So I kept getting him and Bennet mixed up. But I'll tell you, man, he made Pete Buttigieg want to punch him in the mouth. See, when they brought up Pete Buttigieg in South Bend and a black man who was shot by a cop who notoriously, just so happens, did not have his body cam activated when he shot a man to death, Swalwell told Pete Buttigieg, hey, man, why didn't you just fire the police chief and fire the cop? Then shouldn't they have their body cameras on? If you could have seen the look that Pete Buttigieg gave him, it could cut diamonds.
Under Indiana law, this will be investigated, and there will be accountability for the officer involved.
But you're the mayor, you should fire the chief if that's the policy and someone died.
All of these issues are extremely important, but there are specifics, there are symptoms, and
But it's a very good question. Why has that guy still got a job? Don't tell me how you're trying to fix problems. See, Pete Buttigieg is really good at being eloquent. And if you don't pay attention to what he's not saying, you'll think what he's saying is really cool. The bottom line is, Pete, you got people on your police force, running your police force, who don't follow the rules. So what's the conversation? Why should there be a conversation? You have a self-inflicted problem in South Bend. You got cops who won't follow instruction. Whether they're justified or not, the body camera would clear it right up. That's the whole purpose of body cameras. Yeah, even Hickenlooper chipped in on Pete and jumped on him, talking about police accountability. I will say this about Kamala Harris. Besides the fact she called out Joe Biden, to the point almost too far. She almost went too far because as she kept talking and she started having the voice start to crack artificially, I started thinking, because she started invoking things about being black. And I started thinking, Kamala Harris, you're the one when you launched your campaign, they asked you, were you running as an Indian or as a black? And you said, I'm just running as an American. See, you don't get to choose when you want to be black. That's part of being black. I'm black all the time. I'm black when I wake up. I'm black when I go to sleep. I'm black when I pick my kids up from daycare. I'm black when I run to the store at midnight or late at night to pick up a Coke, a soda or something. I'm black all the time. I don't get to decide when I'm black. You don't get to decide when you black either. You don't get to just be black because it hurts Joe Biden. You're supposed to be black all the time or be black none of the time. I'm cool with it either way, but you're going to have to pick a color. Her words, not mine. Her words, not mine. Oh, they talked about guns. and look, I don't want you to think that I don't recognize the talent that Pete Buttigieg or Buttigieg has. He has talent. Very well-spoken guy. He had one statement that was so good, I wrote it down. He said, if more guns made us safer, we'd be the safest country on earth. Turns out that meme, that saying that Pete used in the debate, well, he got that from a meme that's floating around the internet. And the Pete team is so dastardly brazen, they went and made a meme of it and put Pete's name on it. But it's been around for years. Not cool, dog. Not cool. I like that. It's not a solution, but it sounds good. Which is much like my complaints about Pete. It's not a solution, but it sounds good. Biden says he would bring home soldiers from Afghanistan. Look, Bernie Sanders was good in the beginning, but then he kind of faltered. He kind of did a fallback, and I didn't like it. He should have stayed aggressive, okay? But there was a lot of yelling on the stage. There was no yelling like this in yesterday's debate. Yeah, there was a lot of crossfire. It was crazy. At one point, Kamala Harris had to break him up. At one point, the top cop had to play cop again. She said, hey, the American people didn't tune in to watch a food fight. The American people want to know, can you help them put some food on the table? And then everybody clapped. And then she went on to do word salad. So she gave us some word salad to put on that table. But it was a good one-liner, though. It was good. So anyway, Bernie Sanders should have stayed more aggressive with Biden. He was a couple of times. Like, he called out the fact that Joe Biden, he voted for the Iraq War. But he left out a lot of stuff he could have went at Biden about. Because Biden was like, well, listen right here. And, he's doing all this. I'm like, Bernie, hit his ass, man. Biden keeps taking credit for Obama administration. Fine. Let him take credit. Answer this, Biden. Yemen, brother. Why are we helping Saudi Arabia and Yemen? See, Bernie has legislation to end that. Also, Biden, you're a part of an administration that dropped more bombs in his first term on the first year than Bush dropped in his whole term. Obama dropped so many bombs, he ran out of bombs. But now you want to come up here and talk about how you were always on the right side of war? No, you were always at war. In fact, the Obama administration was at war every second of every day of his administration. That's reality. And Bernie could have hit him harder, and he didn't, and he should have, and I know he knows. We all know it. If I know it, Bernie knows it. Something about Swalwell did bother me, and I just remember what it was. He kept bringing up generational. Yeah, he kept bringing up generational stuff. I noticed there's a little sorority thing going on between Pete Buttigieg and Swalwell. But I guess Swalwell, thought he could get a little mileage out of saying, hey, I'm young. You're young. Let's go play Call of Duty. Pete don't want to play Call of Duty. He got a friend to do that. He don't need you, Swalwell. You're too low in the rankings. He doesn't associate with guys who are polling at -2%. But Bernie Sanders and both Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden and Marianne Williamson took exception to Swalwell with the generational digs, because he did it a couple of times, talking about what the world really needs is just young people. Now, we need young people, that's true, but we need young, smart people. I'm not so sure you're a part of that group. Youth by itself is not as, helpful as you think. There's a saying, a lot of young people are dead. A lot of old people walking around, a lot of young people die early because they're stupid. Anyway, point of fact is, you don't get old being no fool. That's the comment. That's the statement, okay? So, Bennet says he wants to bring people together but no empty promises. That was his closing statement. He wants to bring people together with no broken promises. Yeah, once again, that's because he thinks that Medicare for all is an empty promise. Yeah, more about what we can't do. His closing statement is about what we can't do, not about what we can do. Platitudes, platitudes, platitudes. Williamson talked about insider politics is toxic. And she said we can defeat Donald Trump with big ideas, not bigotry. Which I love it in the philosophical context. I just don't know how you apply it. In a country that's built on bigotry and sexism and all the other isms. Hickenlooper, he painted a picture of Colorado that was so pristine it made me want to move to Colorado. He said the marijuana is legal. They got green energy. Women control their reproductive rights. Sounds great. Then I read the fine print that said no blacks allowed. I'm like, hold on, man. Oh, man, I was almost going to pack up, move. Joking. Gillibrand. Her closing statement was women's rights. Get me to fight for women's rights. Yang, the guy froze up. Andrew Yang had no funny closer. Yang gang, you need to get Andrew Yang to the next debate because we need to see the real Andrew Yang. All right, I'm going to leave that there. Leave it there. Harris, she ended with this: we need to prosecute Donald Trump. She knows how to prosecute Donald Trump out of the White House. She doesn't mean impeachment. She means beat him at the ballot box. I like that line of thinking. That's what needs to happen. She had a pretty good closer. Buttigieg had a compelling closer. He was selling it. Problem is, I need to hear, people keep saying, go to the website. Go to the website for Pete Buttigieg. Okay? Hey, look. When I'm listening to a debate, I want to hear some of your cornerstone policies. I want to hear something you hang your hat on. He talked about stuff, but what policies was he really vocal on achieving? He didn't talk about those tonight. You got to find a way to wedge that in there, Buttigieg. Bernie Sanders had the strongest closer. I said Bernie Sanders had the strongest closer. You know why? Because he did something very simple. He called out all the corruption. He said, everybody here has great ideas. And the people at home that are watching, they're probably thinking, these are good people. These are smart people. Why we got all these problems? And he's right, because that's exactly what people are thinking. But then he said, the only way we're going to stop those problems is if we put an end to the military-industrial complex, big pharmaceutical, Wall Street, all the special interest groups. We got to call them all out. We got to go to war against them. And that, folks, is really why Bernie Sanders gets railroaded and rigged and thrown to the side and blacked out and disrespected, because he called out every major industry in the country. Bernie doesn't waste time going after the disenfranchised, right? He doesn't go after low-hanging fruit. He go right at the money source, and I love it. But as a Bernie Sanders supporter, guys, if you listen closely to the way Bernie Sanders, what his goals are, you got to understand what he's saying. He's keeping it real with you. If we don't give Bernie Sanders the tools to overpower these special interests, even if he does become president, nothing will change. That's the sobering fact of it all. So even if you get a Bernie Sanders, you still got so much work to do. It'll just be beginning. The work is just going to be starting once he goes into office. Not just for him, for everybody. Last but not least, Biden. Biden's closer was dog. That's right, it was dog. Look, you're on the stage. You have to know by now, people are wondering if you still got it. You have to know that people are questioning if you should be the guy. You got to know that there are young people, old people, people all across this country going, this is Groundhog's Day. Get Joe off the stage. And what do you do in your closing statement at your first debate? You start reading from your speech, talking about restoring the fiber of the nation. Donald Trump is big, bad, racist. Look, even if it's true, dude, that's not a plan. That's like saying, I know you are, but what am I? I know you are, but what am I? I know you are, but what am I? What does that have to do with you if you became president? That's not a vision. People don't just want us to not be racist. People want to live indoors, Joe. People don't just want us to restore the core, whatever the hell that is. Tell it to the slaves, fool. Tell it to the Native Americans, damn it. Restore the core of the American value system. You know, my mom couldn't even sit on the front of the bus. You're talking about restoring the core of America. Dude, if you don't fix this damn pharmaceuticals problem we got where we pay all this money for our prescriptions, see, that's a tangible thing. Talk tangibles. Jesus. Restore the moral fiber of America. And once upon a time, it meant something to be an American. Yeah, okay. Tell it to the Central Park 5. We ain't even got to go back that far, dude. Tell it to Tamir Rice. All right. That's what I got, guys. That's what I came up with. Look, who won the debate tonight? Let's wrap this up. Who won the debate tonight? I think Kamala Harris is going to do very well because of that soundbite back and forth with Joe Biden. She had the courage to go in there and call him out, and she kept calling him out. And I think for that, she deserves a bump. I mean, come on, man. She's calling out the front runner. Nobody had the guts to call out Elizabeth Warren yesterday. None of them called out Elizabeth Warren. At least Kamala Harris wants to win. Bernie held his own. He called out Biden when it came to the Iraq war. And how? Hey, hold on, Biden. Hold on, Joe. I didn't vote for that war. And I won the side of Yemen. Who else won tonight? Bernie Sanders made no gaffes that I saw. I thought he was pretty strong. He was very deliberate. He was emphatic. He was busy. He laid back a little, but like I said, there was a lot going on. Why jump out there when you got these guys arguing? Maybe it was a better play, okay? So I got Kamala Harris, Bernie Sanders. Marianne Williamson, I think, made a name for herself tonight. Although she had one of the biggest social media followings, right up there with Andrew Yang. I mean, she's pretty big. But I say she did a good job. I won't say she's in line with Kamala or Bernie just because she's not really a political person. And it was on a totally different wavelength. But for getting out her message, which is her goal of being in this, I think she did a good job at that. Because she talked about what she wanted to talk about. There's got to be at least 3, right? I would say Buttigieg and Gillibrand did about the same, but yeah. I think Buttigieg by a hair. Buttigieg by a hair. Okay, who didn't do so hot? Hickenlooper and Bennet. I don't even know. I don't understand, man. I don't get it. I guess running for president is sort of like an exercise. It's something you do to sharpen your skills. It's something you do when you got nothing else to do. I don't know. It just felt like they're doing this just to do it. I really don't get why they're in it. I guess somebody will have to explain it to me at some point. You know? I don't know. Swalwell, same thing, man. I don't really understand. I think come the next debates, there are going to be less people in those debates. And I think that's for a good reason. Because there should be. All right, guys, I'm Tim Black. Hit me up at Real Tim Black on Facebook and on Twitter. Also, find me at Tim Black and Night on Instagram. Also, you can always email me at tim@timblackTV.com. Don't forget to join my Wolfpack. Wolfpack is here tomorrow. Be Freedom Friday. My Wolfpack, don't forget to call in to the show so that you can talk and speak your mind. We start at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yes. And it is what it is, guys. Interesting, guys. Very interesting. Don't forget to join us on Patreon as well. $5 a month gets you a Wolfpack membership. And that gets you primary interest. First eyes on everything I do. Direct links to everything I do and special stuff that I don't release to the rest of the world. Just to you guys. Tonight's biggest loser to me would be the American people. Because if you did not watch the whole debate and you did not listen to what Bernie Sanders said at the end to close this debate, if you didn't listen to that part, if you ran to the bathroom or got in an argument with your significant other or you had to walk the doggy, you would have missed out on the fundamental truth about this country. And that is, unless we get rid of special interest groups, unless we overturn Citizens United and we put the power back into the hands of the people, nothing we do on this stage is going to matter at all. You may not like that. You can blame Trump. all you want. I think Bernie needs to continue the momentum he's going to get from this, and I expect Biden to take a hit. I'm honest on this. I think Kamala wounded Biden. It's going to hurt his black vote. That's going to hurt him in South Carolina. Kamala just helped everyone.